Coucou, c'est moi. Je ne peux parler en français, mais c'est drôle. Ça, pour maintenant, je parle comme ça. Okay, so yeah, let's just ignore that my completely incapable French speaking. But yeah. So how's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. I'm avoiding studying for exams. Go me. Because, yeah, who really wants to do that? Am I right? Yes. So for the moment, I'm just gonna talk about something random. Well, anything I can think of. Let's see here. So as many of you guys are aware of, Barack Obama's nearly, well, or I don't know, I think he has actually won that Democratic election thing. I'm not quite sure how the thing goes because I'm Canadian. So this really shouldn't really matter to me all that much, but oh well, talk about it anyways. Now, most people are always like, oh my, are all freaking out about it because they're like, oh my god, who's gonna be a black guy or a white girl? Well, if it's just on the girl part. For me, I'm just like, who cares? Maybe that's just because I'm like a mixed thing, so it doesn't bother me that much, but I think it should matter more to people that, like, you know, who they are, other than what color their skin is or what gender they are. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the purpose why everybody is freaking out about it, but that shouldn't be the judge of how you vote. You should really care about, you know, like, what have they done in their lives? What are they planning on doing? Like, does anybody really pay attention to that? Honestly, it's getting annoying. Now, I have to admit, I myself don't really know anything about these guys either. I only know, like, one upside for each of them, one downside for each of them. For Barack Obama, upside is this guy is a hell of a speaker. Like, I was listening to this guy's speech, totally blown away, totally sucked into it, became like a big fan just from the one speech he gave. Like, that is some serious skill he has right there. Like, major awesome verbal skills. The downside is I know nothing else about him, which really does not help me, because I have no idea what has this guy ever done in his, like, political career. So I can't really say anything for that on his part. Now, as for Hillary Clinton, I actually do know something about her. I know that, you know, while her husband was the president of the US, she had tried to bring out, what was it, free healthcare for the US. Now, that's a really good thing. Like, that's a pretty noble thing to do. She actually tried to make sure that people would be able to, you know, be able to go into hospitals and actually get treatment for illnesses and stuff like that, which is great. You know, until they did that big red scare to freak everybody out and make them think that they would become communists if they did it. I don't quite get why that would make you, like, I don't know, like Russia or China or whatever. I mean, come on, it's just so that, you know, like, when you're old and sick, you can actually go to the hospital and get better. But yeah, so that's an upside to it. Downside to her, is that, like, you know, from what I saw further on, was that she actually did get bought off by these companies to keep her mouth shut about it. Now, I'm not saying this totally, like, as something like I know, like, absolutely for sure, but, you know, I saw this in Sicko, that Michael Moore movie. So yeah, that kind of bothered me about her, but, you know, at least she did try to get it done, right? Well, that's good. So yeah, besides those two little points about each of those major candidates, I was completely clueless about the entire thing. I was just happy that one of them won. I mean, you know, they both seem like good people. I think they would do a good job. All they need to do now is actually, you know, win the presidential vote. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a time like something like this happened. Wait, I think there was a female prime minister in Canada. I think, like, she ended up having a baby soon, so she had to leave early. Oh, I do recall one time I was actually reading, like, you know, like, a newspaper thing, like, oh, like, what are the odds of, like, there being a black prime minister? Turns out it's not too high. But, you know, that's not a big shock because, like, when you look at the demographics in Canada, there aren't that many people who are black. So, like, if you were actually basing it on, you know, like, the population of people of different skins, like, which one's most likely, you're probably getting at either a Chinese person or, like, an Indian person. Trust me, I know. I live in a city where white people are the minority. The Indians rule everywhere. They're, like, what, a good third of the population, which is pretty good considering we're one of the largest cities in the country. Yeah, I recall actually, I was watching Bowling for Columbine. There was another Michael Moore movie, and they were talking about, you know, like, why there was less violence in Canada than there was in the U.S., and one of the beliefs was because there aren't as many black people here, which is kind of ridiculous because I don't think that would have anything to do with it. But actually, the one thing I found absolutely hilarious about it is when he was talking about this, he said that 13% of Canadians are non-white. And this came as a huge shock to me, because I was like listening to this and thinking, that's all? Like, seriously? That's all we have? Like, this has to be some kind of joke. Like, this must be like a seriously old movie for that to be true, because, like, I don't know, I only hear about white communities like a couple hours north, and that's as far as you get. And anything underneath, we're just like a salad bowl with like an equal proportion of like all the different vegetables, or all the different like races in this case. So yeah, I'm not being racist or anything, it's, you know, just pointing out a fact. That really is how it is. I just remember, like, the one day I was walking around the mall and I look around and I'm like, oh my god, where are all the white people? Which I think was fun. I actually started laughing afterwards, because then I realized, wait a minute, why do I care? I'm not even totally white, I'm only half white. Why should this bother me? So yeah, you know you're from Canada when. Personally, I think I myself am a good example of how, like, you know, Canada's multiculturalism works in this sort of way. Because I think about it, like, let's see, I'm half Jewish, I'm half Iranian, I have a cousin from Jamaica, I got like 3 adopted cousins, one from China, one from Korea, one from Peru. Then I've hosted people from 3 different countries. I got like France, Italy, and Paraguay. Plus I also made friends with other foreign exchange students from like all over the world. Got like, you know, like some Thai friends all over South America. I've known at least like 5 Venezuelans, 5 Colombians. So yeah, I just meet people from like everywhere. And let's see, like, one of my best friends is actually from Hong Kong. She's wicked. Another one of my friends is from Jordan. I got, well, like I said, I live in a city where, like, most of the people are Indian. And if not, they're, like, you know, like, white, black, or Chinese, or something like that. So, yeah, it's just, you know, a good mix all around. Which totally works in my opinion. I mean, it helps, like, you know, like, bring, like, globalization and unity right in your own city. So yeah, so I just realized I keep on rambling on about randomness. I'm not quite sure what my point is. I guess it's, the point of this whole thing is, like, you know, when there's an election going on, actually pay attention to who you're voting for instead of, like, you know, like, what they are. And when it comes about to, like, you know, you find someone cute and they're of a different race, just, you know, ignore what the race is and just go for it. Let's get some, like, mixing going around. You know, do like what Russell Peters said, get like, you know, Jamaicans and like the Italians, you get little pastafarians, so you get like the Icelandics and the Cubans, you get little ice cubes, and just go do those crazy mixes like that. For me, I'll probably go with like some like half Christian, half Buddhist guy. That way when I have a kid, they're gonna have like 4 different religions and be totally confused out of their minds. Should be fun, right? Yeah. So yes, spread the love. Peace, y'all. I can't believe I just said that, but yeah. Alright. Ciao, ciao.